Hello, hope y'all are all doing great. It's January 1st, and today I'm going to be talking about many things. Got a lot to talk about tonight. We have three storm systems over pretty much the next week, or really 8 days that I want to focus on. And I'm going to be going over like current conditions and stuff that we had today and like what's going on right now before that. But yeah, so I hope y'all are all doing very well. Hope y'all had a good Christmas and a good New Year's. But it's 2024. Uh, Hopefully this year, I think this year is going to be good. I think it's going to be good. Uh, but yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we're looking at our pretty much our satellite from earlier today. This was before the sun set here. This is what we were looking at. We had a lot of cloud cover for areas of the pretty much the Great Lakes, the Ohio River Valley area, and then we had like into the southeast. You can see the southeast is actually pretty clear. We had a dry front move through the area. We're going to talk about what temperatures can be expected tonight and stuff across the east in just a second. Central U.S., we can see some of that snowpack in areas in Nebraska, South Dakota, and even North Dakota from that blizzard that we had a couple of days ago on Christmas, actually like almost a week ago at this point. In the west, we can see nothing really that stands out. A lot of, believe that's probably fog right there. And yeah, northeast, you can see some patches of sun, but pretty cloudy as well overall. Pretty average winter day, nothing too like significant across the country. Besides just our lack of snow cover, that's probably the biggest issue right now. But yeah, like current temperatures, I believe we probably have no, but yeah, current temperatures we can see. Northeast is very cold. We do have some very cold air in the northeast. Temperatures in the teens for much of May. Down along the coast, we've got temperatures in the 20s. Uh, Areas of New Hampshire, similar situation. Vermont, similar as well. New York, very cold. Southern New York, probably right above freezing. Southeast, like near the Hudson River, and then down towards the city. But upstate New York, or not upstate, actually, upstate pretty much. We have some temperatures well into the teens already. Very cold night expected up there. Down into New Jersey, Delaware, around 40. The DMV's 37, and then 30 is pretty much already pushing down into, the southeastern Virginia, the Piedmont and North Carolina, pretty much like the upstate areas of South Carolina, northern Georgia, northern Alabama, and northern Mississippi, and then below freezing temperatures already for much of the Great Lakes area, Midwest, and up until like UP, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. We also had temperatures like already down in the low 20s. So I mean, this is a pretty average evening. This is actually like pretty normal. I believe these temperatures up here pretty much are above average, like north of this line. But the south is below average too, about average, with the exception maybe of like southern, just Belton, southern Georgia here. Let me close out of that. Sorry about that. Still getting notifications. I gotta turn my computer on Do Not Disturb, but I'll do that next video. But yeah, we still got temperatures like near 60 in southern Georgia, far like south low country of South Carolina, and then down in Florida, where that's like pretty normal for this time of year. Let's go ahead and shift to the central part of the country, where we have that snowpack in South Dakota. We can see very cold temperatures already cooling down into the teens, but overall the plains is not above average. But this area up here is far above average, I believe. 37 in southwestern North Dakota is very much above average for this time of year, but it's at least okay. I mean, at least it's still cold. Okay, at least it's not like 60. That's kind of good. But as you go further south, we can see like this area here is pretty much average to below average. Over into the west, we can see we have temperatures pretty cold in many areas. Of course, the mountains, 20s, teens already. Like Seattle, Portland, like low 40s already. Like many areas, southwest, like many areas in California, the southwestern part of the state, still like in the 60s. So yeah, I mean, nowhere that's like really extreme temperature anomaly wise today. Which, let me see here. I can actually do this real quick. We can go to, I believe right here, we can actually see these temperature anomalies. That's for tomorrow, unfortunately. Here we go. temperature anomalies for our highs today. Yeah. So it was very much above average in this area. Like I said, most of the west was like slightly above average to slightly below average, kind of depending on where you are. Of course, Texas and areas of Oklahoma were below average. Let's see I'm just gonna take central, similar in the east. We can see we have that belt of below average in this area, a little bit above average down here, above average in some areas in the northeast as well. So, but yeah, overall it wasn't too much of like a crazy day temperature anomaly wise. Despite those anomalies in Texas and North Dakota, that's pretty much the only like real crazy areas. I mean, besides that, we were in between like 10 and 15 degrees below average, which is still pretty far below average, but it's not like record setting necessarily. But up here we're about like 20, 25 degrees above average actually, maybe up there. So wow, that's pretty. What were these actual temperatures? I'm kind of curious. Max. Yeah, we were looking at like above 40, way up there, which I think their average highs were like, I guess in the teens probably at this point. So that's crazy. Okay. But yeah, so looking at expected lows tonight across the east. Yeah, we're gonna be looking at a cold night for sure. Teens pretty much for much of Maine, maybe even some single digits probably in some rural locations. Coastal areas in the northeast getting down to about freezing, with some 20s and teens as you go pretty much further north into the interior areas. Most of PA is like in between 25 and 32. Same with like Jersey, right around 32. Delaware, DMV is 35. Not really cooling down too much in the DMV actually, compared to what it is now. And then southeast, we can see very cold as well. We have like a belt of cold air that kind of sits in across. I believe we have clouds here remaining throughout the night, so that's probably why. Let's overlay. What we can do is we can take a look at that actually. 1 second. Yeah, I don't know how to look at it, but here we go. Yeah, clouds in that area. That's why. Back to temperatures. Yeah, we have this belt of 10. Like, I mean, very cold in the southeast. It's like Birmingham 25, Atlanta like around 30. So yeah, cold night across the southeast. Freeze potentially all the way down to the Panhandle in northern Florida there. So yeah, very cold for sure. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon. We can see we still have this belt of cold air right here where it's just below average. Like Nashville, Birmingham, Atlanta, like Augusta, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina, up towards Raleigh. Very cold. Or not very cold. This isn't really, considering it's January, this is like only slightly below average, but it's still like a little bit below average for this time of year. It's still cold though. And then further north, we can see definitely above average the further north you go, because you see these temperatures don't drop off that quickly. Like you go from like, compare the temperature in like Peoria, where it's 33, for example, to like Minneapolis, where it's like 32. I think the average high Minneapolis right now is 24, I believe, and in Peoria, I think it's like 36, and it's roughly the same. So that's kind of why, like, the further north you go, the more above average it gets. Pretty common for an El Nino. For an El Nino winter, that's kind of the normal, like what you normally see, with the south being below average, and then that kind of shift as you go north. But yeah, so I mean, cold day tomorrow for pretty much everybody. I mean, even southern Florida is like, it's not cold, but it's like a little bit below average down there. So let's go ahead and start talking about what we're going to be looking at, like with this first storm system. This first storm system, we can see that tomorrow in Texas. Tomorrow evening we have a good bit of rain and stuff across central Texas, and then as we go into Wednesday, we can see how low shifts into the Gulf. We see a little bit more precip, but still just kind of like riding that Gulf Coast. And then we see a switch over to snow potentially in Georgia, South Carolina, areas of, western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee. GFS indicates that here is 7 p.m. on Wednesday. We can see we have that snow in northwestern Georgia there. So yeah, that's what I want to kind of focus on here. If we go down, if we zoom in on the southeast, and I want to go to this. Yeah, we see this is like the GFS. This is Wednesday afternoon. We have snow like just outside of the Atlanta area, just mixing in. Now I'm gonna say some things before. I don't think we're gonna be looking at really a big accumulation type thing with it, like a big accumulation event with this, as it seems right now. It doesn't seem like we're gonna be looking at that. It seems like we're gonna be looking at just more towards like a breakout of heavy snow, not heavy, but a breakout of snow. If you can see like a heavy enough precipitation to bring down the temperature. To the point where it can still, like, we can see where it's not raining, we're still like over towards Athens where the rain's just coming in. Temperature's still 43, 45 degrees in that area, but then southwest towards like Noonan, Georgia, Carrollton, where that rain has already set in, we're seeing the switch over to snow. You can see it's around 36, so that kind of shows you that. Even like mid 30s into Alabama where it's not snowing quite yet, but it's still like very close to snowing. And yeah, we can see that snow does eventually like shift a little further east. However, misses the Athens area, of course. Uh, I don't think I'm gonna get anything from this, sadly, but yeah, you never know. You never know. But yeah, a little interesting event. Total accumulations in the GFS, I don't believe are. Yeah, not really. No, I mean maybe an inch, but let's like. I don't even think we'll see that. If anything, some areas might even switch back over to rain. But looking at the NAM3, which has a little bit more of a, I guess, like a moderate solution. 4 p.m. We can see we have that snow in areas of like eastern Alabama, western Georgia, kind of mixing in. Very messy though. It's not like a straight cutoff, as you can see. It could even be like slightly elevation dependent in some of those areas. Higher elevation could help you out a little bit here. Then yeah, I mean even some of that even does try to switch over like east of Atlanta, like over near like on I-20, like towards Athens in Greensboro, but it's very hard as you get over there. But yeah, total accumulations on the old NAM3 here, pretty similar, maybe about an inch in some areas. I think that honestly, I think the areas with the best chance of snow actually changing is this corridor right here, like Carrollton, eastern Alabama. You have some like heightened elevation there, which kind of helps it out. This area here just also is like always colder than other areas. Now the NAM3 might be overdoing this a little bit. It does tend to be run a little bit cold. We can see those temperatures like getting down to near freezing already by like 7 p.m. and quickly cooling off into like the mid 30s, even in eastern Georgia. So that is pretty bullish, I'd say. The FE3 has pocket, doesn't go out far enough, but we can see it does switch over. We do see that switch over towards Athens maybe by about 7 p.m. Yeah, I mean a decent little bit of snow in areas in northwestern Georgia. This area here also kind of missing out a little further north than the FE3, but the FE3 is also not the best model. I really want to wait till the HRRR, but the HRRR, as you can see, does not go out. The 00Z1 run, which is coming out as I make this video, does start to will actually go out to pretty much at least halfway through this system. It goes out to will go out to 7 p.m. on Wednesday, which I will leave my the link to my Twitter in the video's description, and I'll try to post some updates on there since I don't want to make a second video tonight. But I'll probably have it. I'm definitely gonna have a video out tomorrow, at some point where I will briefly talk about this. But that's kind of the storm system here. Nothing that's like really a big deal. It's just kind of interesting. Maybe like our first more southern, like southeastern snow event of the year. Not really a big deal though. And I mean, it could just completely go away. That's kind of a thing with these types of systems. One run and they could just go. We had like some upper level low system in February. I remember this, where we were supposed to get like 4 inches of snow in like every model, NAM, GFS, then the Euro, and I think the second we got in range of the HRRR had nothing, and then in one run, all the models just shifted to us getting like nothing, and everything shifted further north, and then I think the next one was just gone, and nowhere got anything. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. I really hope we can maybe see some flakes here. I don't think we had the best chance in Athens, so we don't have a better chance. Like west of Atlanta has the best chance, or northwest of Atlanta, generally. So our next storm system is later this week. So this is Friday afternoon, January 5th. Looking at snow across areas of Kansas. We have our low in Texas right there. And we can see as we go, it does kind of get its act together as we go towards Saturday morning. Very far south compared to how it used to be. It's also very active in the west. You have kind of another system coming into the west, bringing some higher elevation snow Saturday in areas of California, Nevada, Idaho, Oregon, Washington. But with this system, we can see like a 998 millibar low pretty much goes straight over the southeast and then turns into a nor'easter almost. But we do see a decent snow like winter storm event for areas of Kentucky, Tennessee, even like the southern Appalachians up into West Virginia. We see a lot of that, and then like of actual like a full-on winter storm, like in the DMV area, New Jersey, New York City, and like a lot of southern areas that have missed out on snow for like the past year. And then this this bad boy is the next one, which we'll talk about in a second. Uh, that one's a little interesting. Let's just say that. But GEFS here, ensembles. This is with that system Saturday. Yeah, we can see a lot of that snow is far south. But keep in mind, not all these areas are going to be getting snow. This is an ensemble model, so this is very like low. What is the word for it? It's very like low res, I guess you could say. But yeah, like but with that most of that accumulation, it was like this area here really gets a ton. We take a look at total snowfall accumulations here. Let's see. Now this is just kind of an average, but yeah, look at that. Like that's 6 inches for a large portion of of PA, Virginia, Maryland, northern New Jersey, and I mean, yeah, this would be like our first like decent winter storm for these more southern locations here. Look at that snow even over here. From this, we do see like a good amount of snow, Thursday and Friday in that area, and the West is just getting dumped on during this time. Look at that in California on Wednesday. But yeah, so that could be, and then that big boy is our next one. But so this does look like our first like real winter storm for areas of the east. As we go towards Saturday and Sunday. Now back over to the actual operational GFS. Total snowfall accumulations on that. Let's take a look at. Yeah, look at that. Like that's a lot of snow in some areas. Now I wouldn't completely buy into this yet because this is 140 hours out, but we could be looking at some pretty significant accumulations in some place. Some place will definitely get them, and it could even be like one of these further south locations here. So as we get closer towards this, we can kind of get a better idea of what we'd be looking at with that. Now over on the European for this, real quick, I did have the European ensembles picked up. Yeah, we can see how it's very similar, kind of where we see that. It's just this belt right here gets the most. Also, the European, what is that down there? Is that from? The European has snow falling all the way in like Macon, Georgia, on Wednesday. Somehow the European ensembles. That's very interesting. Yeah, the actual. No way. The actual European has snow down there as well. So that's pretty cool, actually. Okay. I don't think we're going to be seeing snow in South Georgia on Wednesday, but one model does have it though, so we'll see. We'll see. So that's that. I don't think we're going to be looking at like a big severe weather threat with this. Maybe like more like very far south areas, but it would be you're going to be looking at it like down along the Gulf Coast pretty much. 500 millibar winds. Yeah, we do. I mean, that's decent right there. That little like Saturday across areas of like southern Georgia maybe. It'd be probably this area here because if we look at something like dew points. And like yeah, we had that moisture is limited very far south, so maybe we could be looking at some type of like a squall line here. That's what we could be looking at. I'd say that belt right there would be like the most favorable area for severe weather. Even like maybe a little further west as well. But I think the main severe weather threat could be as we go towards Tuesday with that other system. So yeah, look at that trough. Yeah, look at that crazy negative tilt right there. And yeah, this area here would be lined up for a squall line. Holy, that is crazy. Okay. Now this right here that's like some of the strongest I've ever seen. Like this is one of the best looking troughs I've ever seen. Wow. Okay. So the GFS has pretty much a full-on blizzard in the plains areas of Kansas, Nebraska. It's shifted a little bit further north than what we were looking at before. Omaha, Des Moines, all the way up into like Wisconsin. And then just look at what happens in the south though. Just look at this like massive rain along the cold front. We have like a secondary low down here and everything. Uh, but we would be having a large corridor. I think we'd have like just a line of damaging wind pretty much all the way up here, and then maybe even like a more of a tornado threat as you go further south, where we have that like increased moisture. But even over towards the low, though, we could be looking at maybe like some cold core stuff up there if this were to happen. Now, to keep in mind, this is 180 hours out. This is over a week out, so we gotta be careful. But this would be a huge blizzard for it's the central part of the country here, and that's gonna dump a bunch of cold air behind it for sure. Uh, Take a look at curious what temperature anomalies look like. So yeah, we have pretty much just undisturbed, and that cold air spills into the country behind that. We have another system after that, and then what? Okay, yeah, then we have that in the GFS. So I mean, for sure, we're gonna be going into an active period for sure, even after the storm system next Tuesday. Let's see what the European has. The good old 12Z here. If we'll go out far enough, yeah, that is actually very similar to the GFS here. Yeah, we have that belt pretty much near blizzard conditions, pretty much in like areas of Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Illinois. A little further south in the GFS though, but we would still be having a severe weather threat for like a huge area of the Gulf Coast states. Uh, just look at that. You take a look at one thing interesting thing, just for fun, we can look at is a wind gust swaths. Uh, Now the European is nowhere near as like insane as the GFS. When it comes to this, if you take a look at the GFS, it yeah, pretty much has that's like 68 right there. All these orange and red colors are over 50. Green is over like 35. So yeah, we'd see a ton of wind with this for sure. If the GFS were to happen. European is not as crazy. That doesn't go as It's not as crazy, but we do still see a little bit. GFS, the big difference is it has like a stronger storm system, and then it's also further north. So we'll see what happens with trends like by like tomorrow and stuff as we get closer to it. But that's pretty much all I got for y'all tonight. Thank you for watching. I should have a video out for y'all tomorrow. But yes, thank y'all.